Hey Aaron and Dan, I just thought I'd put together this quick video, seeing as we've spoken so much via email, just showing you kind of what gear I use and what I like to take with me. It's not too much of a big deal. It doesn't mean this is what you have to bring or this is what you have to use. It's just what I've had to work with and just adapted from coming from a dry climate to here where everything is so damn wet all the time, and just making it so that it would work all the time. I like to use, as you've mentioned Dan, I like to use the cat quivers. Here is my original cat quiver, which busts, so I just brought it here for demonstration. The modification that I put on is I just put on three compression straps, and not really to compress the bag, but it was a great place to stow gear. Put in my little stool that I sit on, and then I also put in diagonal straps across that helps hold jackets or whatever else I need to hold on the outside. So here's my replacement cat quiver. And I haven't put the compression straps on yet, but you can see I took the cross straps off the old one and stuck it on here. It's a real good place to store the little stool and to store a raincoat or something for quick access. I like the cat quivers because they keep the fletching dry and easy and quiet access to the arrows without flagging the deer, as would happen with a proper back quiver or something. This is the stool I like to use. I've gone through a range of stools. I had a four-legged one that was pretty robust, but obviously with four legs I could never get the thing to sit level. These three-legged ones, the problem with them is that in this peaty, mossy kind of climate we're in, the feet can sink in a little bit. And I think I'm going to make a little adaptation for this with a webbing strap that joins all three legs here. A broad webbing strap, so the surface area going into the dirt is increased so they don't sink in so much. But they fit in real nice on the I can either just strap them through on there, on the cat quiver, and then they're readily accessible and they're out of the way. That's how I like to keep them. And I'll go through what's in my cat quiver in a minute. I have bear spray. You don't laugh. This is because those of us that are concerned about bears. Anyway, for what it's worth. My deer call, I just make them out of a chunk of antler. They work really well. I use a little squeaker out of a squeaky toy, and here's the hole that the sound comes out of, and this hole that drilled in here is just kind of stepped, so the squeaky toy goes into a certain point and can't get past that. And you can either blow or suck on them, or you can suck, which I prefer. And if I was calling for a deer, this is Nexus. You guys remember Nexus from the video? He'll be tracking our deer for us. Bugger off, bugger. I like to keep, I got one of these for just cheap, $5 or something from Canadian Tire. And I use them in Alberta quite a bit. And they're real handy. They're just a fanny pack. Keep your hands warm. They kind of got the muffs here. And I keep a bunch of stuff in here. In the pouch on the front, I've always got some flagging tape to mark when I've shot something. My little pruning clippers for opening up shooting lanes. In the pouch, besides where my hands are, I like to carry well, I've got a doe bleat, which I've never had much success with out here, but I carry it anyway, always hopeful. It's a pair of thin cotton ASAT gloves. I don't know why I carry them, people think it's cool. This is a really good deer call I've used here. It also imitates that distressed fawn quite well. I find when you're hunting an area and they've become kind of desensitized to this call, and if I call with this one, it makes a difference. It's actually a coyote caller. I think it's called the Primo's dog catcher, and it works real well. So I find it works, it's pretty effective too. It's a bit squeaky in the pouch though. And then I carry a pruning saw for cutting those bigger branches that I have to deal with. A lot of the older here grows pretty sort of thick and woody, and it's cutting open a shooting lane. I try and avoid cutting too much just because it's a pain in the butt. and I'll usually often just move position or find something better. With those ASAT suits, which you can see next to me here, they work really well. So these are the ASAT suits. What I like about them is they got the, they're just a light mesh. It's really robust. I've had this suit for about 7 years now, and I've used it every year. It's synthetic, it doesn't absorb moisture. I can wear it in the rain all day. Shirt gets wet, but it doesn't stay wet and soggy and heavy like a ghillie suit, like a jute ghillie suit. So they work really well. The coat and the hood. The one modification I did with it is I just on the leg bottom, on the pant leg bottom, I stitched in a piece of webbing with Velcro on here because their sizes are pretty big and nice and big and baggy, but I find the pants would slip down and get under my boots and then get full of mud and just make a mess. So I have this on here and I can just wrap this around my ankle and Velcro it closed, and that stops the boot from sliding down. A rubber band would do the job just as well, or one of those clips people wear for when they're maybe cycling to stop their pants getting in the bicycle chain would work just as well. An elastic band, a rubber band would do the job just perfect. Even some tape or some flagging tape, electrical tape, anything, wouldn't really matter. And they come with a hood. And I use this hood quite a lot. It works pretty good. I've had a lot of deer look straight through me when I've been wearing it from as far away from me as that camera is now, and look right through me and not know what was going on. Here's my main go-to bow, just a bow I built, that Kenny M reflex deflex bow, just very simple Osage handle, U riser. But what I wanted to show you, which I find works really well, is I just use a solo stalker, because I don't like a bow quiver. I know you guys like bow quivers, but I'm just showing you my gear anyway. So a solo stalker with my 3-blade broadhead woodsman, and I can walk through the bush pretty comfortably without anything getting in the way. And when I need a quick shot, I've got a quick shot right here. So I do like that. It's probably as quick as the first shot out of a bow quiver anyway. Same thing. I just don't like the weight of the bow quiver, and if I need follow-up shots, I've got them in my cat quiver. Here's the bow that Roy made me. It's the yew and Osage and bamboo back tri-lamb. It's a beautiful bow, and I'll be shooting with it as well when we go shooting out in the boat. I'll have a couple of bows, but it's a nice bow anyway. So what I carry in my bag, just as a matter of interest, I've got this little rig that I made up. It's got one of those, only when I'm using tree stands, I'll probably take it with us. I don't use tree stands much anymore. I find them a pain in the butt, but I am busy working on that portable tree stand that'll work both as a cat quiver, a tree stand, and a pack board for packing the deer out. So that'll take the place of my cat quiver. And then this is handy. I don't anticipate using that tree stand more than 10 feet up, just to get out of these small deer's line of sight. But I've got one of these grasshopper, I think is what they were called, tree hopper, not grasshopper, tree hopper. So that's the drill that for drilling a hole into the tree. And then in my pouch here, I have a whole bunch. I think these are 7.5 inch grade 8 bolts with a hex head, 3/8 inch, I think 3/8 of an inch. And they're pretty tough. You can stand on them. The nice thing about the thread, when you drill the hole, you shove this in the hole. The thread, when you stand on here, helps grip it in the tree. It doesn't slip out. And the nice thing is you can come back and use it again and again and again. And within about a year or so, those holes have grown, or maybe 2 years, those holes have grown closed and the tree's kind of recovered. I'm just very careful what I drill into. I'm mostly just older because it's easy climbing, etc. But yeah, so that's what works really well, and I can pull them out when I'm gone. No chance of leaving some iron in a tree that's going to kill a faller with a chainsaw one day. This is a handy thing I got a couple of years ago, and I used it in Alberta. and I really like it here for when I like to move into an area and kind of see a likely spot and just set up real quick. In my ASAT suit, I like to set up, take me 5 or 10 minutes to set up, call for an hour or two, nothing happens, move to the next spot, set up, call for an hour or two. I don't like setting up a spot. I tried that and I keep returning to the same tree stand in the same area, and even though these deer here are not as pressure sensitive as I think as your highly hunted whitetails are, but what happens is they do become sensitized to you being in the area, and you see deer the first couple of times and after that you quit seeing. So I've made myself a little bit more mobile. They call this thing a turkey blind. I don't know whether it's to hide turkeys like me. Anyway, it's real simple. I think I bought it from Canadian Tire. I just stand it up in the bush far enough out in front of me that it doesn't affect, and it hides the bottom half of my body while I'm sitting on my stool, and just kind of makes it, I can fidget and reach down and grab a spare arrow, and I'm not going to flag a deer. I put a spare arrow on the ground in front of me. I can put my call down, pick up my call, a drink of water. I'm not going to spook anything, and all the deer is going to see is the single movement of the draw and the shot. So I like it a lot. It works really well. Always carry a tarpaulin in case I have to spend the night out. I carry a small camping pad, foam pad. I'm talking to a man on the camera. You go sit away. So I carry a small little camping pad because the moss in that is so wet. Bear, the moss. Sorry guys, that's just Bevan. He's the terror. So I can often just whip this out if I'm going to sit on a stump or a log. If that's the best shooting position, just keeps my butt dry during the day. And I just like to carry a bunch of this sort of stuff. I have some toilet paper, and I always carry a few Ziploc bags because there's a fair amount of grouse around here. If I shoot a grouse, you can get the meat out. I always carry some sisal cord, which works really well for starting fires. I've got all my fire making equipment. Couple of candies in case I spend the night. Bevan, quit that. Garbage bag, makeshift raincoat, first aid kit.
What's an aid kit?
I carry a set of rattles. That's a pretty reasonable sized deer here for you guys to see. That's what we might call a, well, it's not from the same deer, obviously. This is a little 3-point on his right side and a little 2-point, but that would be a reasonable sized deer here, a little 3-point, not particularly big. Get 4-pointers, but no, we're going to shoot 6x6s, but anyway.
Dad, really talking to you on the camera.
And good fire making kit. I carry toilet paper, some cotton balls really with Vaseline, petroleum jelly, rub into them, they start a fire real easy. I've got one of those flint fire starters, whatever I need to just to get a fire going in wet conditions. So it's okay, balaclava in case it gets cold, real cold. This is my haul-up line for when I'm sitting in a tree stand, which I certainly don't use anymore, but I have it around anyway. My sheath knife stays in my backpack, so it's obviously an essential. I normally carry at least 2 knives. Some get dull, and I've got files and whatever to sharpen them, and once again some more flagging tape. I wear my muck boots and just my normal gear underneath that. I wear lots of fleece, as I said, lots and lots of fleece layers, and I can take them off and stuff them in my bag. And I've never really had too much in the line of rain gear, but that's what I carry. So, and muck boots. I like the muck boots, the Arctic Sports, because they come up nice and high. Lots of creek crossings and boggy water around here, so it's nice when your boots come up high, and they're nice and thick and real warm. I think that's about it. I can't think of anything else. If I think of anything else, I'll email you guys. Speak to you later. Cheers.